Hello again, Mr. and Mrs. America, and to all the ships at sea. Welcome back to Power Director Made Simple. We're going to get really geeky in this video, but I hope to answer a few questions that have probably been bouncing around in your head for a long time, but you never asked because you didn't want to appear dumb. So hold on tight, here we go. In my most recent video, I briefly mentioned using images and videos in a vertical aspect ratio in projects that were set for a horizontal aspect ratio, and some methods to avoid the black bars on the sides of such images. So today's video is going to explore the concept of aspect ratios in your videos and still photographs. Some of you may be asking, just what exactly is an aspect ratio? Well, simply stated, it's the relationship of the width to the height. Is it a square? Is it a long rectangle? Or is it a tall rectangle? Now on the screen you see an image showing the most common aspect ratios for videos and photos, either 16:9 or 9:16. The 16:9 ratio is referred to as the horizontal or landscape mode, and the 9:16 is called the vertical or portrait mode. But there are many other aspect ratios still used today. Many social media sites have a preferred or recommended aspect ratio for images and videos that are to be posted on their sites. Now here's another image that shows the various image sizes recommended by each site. Although it doesn't show the aspect ratio, you should be able to tell the ones with the same width and height are a square or a 1:1 aspect ratio. Notice that it is only TikTok at the far right that is uniformly recommending the common 16:9 or 9:16 aspect ratio for their media images. Not shown is YouTube, but their recommendations are the same as TikTok. So now the question is, should you shoot your video in 9:16 portrait mode, or maybe just turn the camera 90 degrees so that you can get 16:9? And just how does this impact your editing in Power Director? Let's have some fun and look at this in Power Director. You've probably noticed this one setting before, but it is very important. Down the far right side between the preview window and the timeline is the project aspect ratio. Now yours is probably set to 16:9, but it's okay for now if yours says something different. I think it is a sticky setting now, which means it will open up to whatever used to be the last time the program was open. Now it's hard to distinguish the actual size of the gray preview window over the darker gray background without displaying something in it, so I have prepared some color bars saved in those various aspect ratios. I'm going to click on the drop-down menu, and there are several choices offered. As I click through each one of these, I'm going to move the playhead over the matching color bar so that it fills the newly selected aspect ratio and the newly shaped preview window. Now make sure to watch the shape of the preview window change. There is at the top the 16:9 mode. And then there's the 9:16 portrait mode. Then the 1:1 square mode. Then the 4:3 mode. And then the 4:5 mode. Then the 21:9 mode. And finally, a special 360-degree mode, which I can't really display here. Now, most of you will never use more than 2 or 3 of these, but it does show some of the flexibility that Power Director offers. For right now, I'm going to set mine to 16:9 horizontal landscape mode that's common in high definition and full high definition video. Okay, I'm done showing the various shapes of the aspect ratios available in Power Director, so I'm going to delete all of these yellow bars on the timeline. And just as a side note for now, you should be aware that in Power Director, while you are in the editing mode, you can only set an aspect ratio and not a final resolution. This means that you can bring into the timeline any resolution that you want, but the preview window will always show the shape and size of what it looks like based on the current project setting for the aspect ratio. It's only when you choose to export the project that you actually specify a particular resolution that you want. And even then, the resolutions that you can choose for the export will be based on what the project's aspect ratios were set to. Now that I've set mine to 16:9, I'm going to open up the folder in my library window for some vertical images. Now, every one of these images is exactly 1080 by 1920, which is precisely a 9:16 portrait mode. Next, I'm going to drag down the first image from the library window that shows two people onto track 1. Now, did anyone notice anything special what Power Director just did? Now, remember my project aspect ratio setting was 16:9. But look, it has been reset to 9:16 vertical mode. Power Director assumes the first image on a video track is going to be the user's desired aspect ratio, so it automatically resets the project setting without asking. Notice how this one image completely fills the preview window with no black bars anywhere. That's because the project's aspect ratio matches the actual image. But I want my project to be 16:9 or landscape mode, so I'm going to go back to the project aspect ratio setting and force it back to 16:9. Now look at the preview window. There are large black bars on both sides of the image. So now let's have a little fun with Power Director. I'm going to delete the clip that is on track 1, and then in the library window, I'm going to go up one level and open the other folder for some horizontal images. Now, every one of these is exactly 1920 by 1080, which is precisely a 16:9 landscape mode, which is perfect for high def or full high def video. But first, let's do a little math. I'll open up the Windows calculator, and I'm going to figure out the exact aspect ratio value by dividing the width by the height. Now stay with me, don't fall asleep yet. I'm going to type in 1920 and then hit the divide symbol and then type in 1080 and click on equals. The actual value of this 1920 by 1080 image is 1.7777 something a bunch of times. Just consider this value to be 1.78. And I want you to make a mental note of that for now. I'll close the calculator out. I'll select the first image and drag it down to track 1. Because the aspect ratio of the image matches the project aspect ratio setting, nothing has changed. But what if I now drag down that vertical image again and place it on track 1? Will Power Director change my project settings again? We're going to find out by going up one level in the library and then reopening the vertical folder. I'll grab that same image as before and drag it down to track 1. Now this time, nothing changed. Power Director assumes the first clip that I placed on the timeline is going to be the one that I want the project to be, regardless of what else gets placed on the timeline. Now I'm going to move the playhead over that second clip where you can see the black bars again. Can I remove the black bars? Well, to all the viewers from Indianapolis, I want you to pay close attention. I could grab both of the control nodes at the sides and move them all the way over just to get rid of them. But now that greatly distorts the image. I'm going to hit Control Z twice to go back. The only possible solution is to attempt to zoom in on the image until it fills the width of the screen. I'm going to start with the control nodes in the lower left and drag that one down and to the left until the edge of the image reaches the edge of the preview window and it turns purple. I'll do the same to the right side, but first I have to scroll down in order to access the node. And then when I'm done, I'm going to scroll the image upwards until these subjects come into view. Unfortunately, so much zooming was done that it's now impossible to view both of the people's faces at the same time. The lesson here is that zooming in on a vertical image to make it fit into a landscape mode really depends on the subject matter of the image itself as to what will end up being displayed. Sometimes the results will work out, but usually it doesn't. You either learn to live with the black bars in your finished video, which is not really that bad of a thing, or you learn to rotate your camera 90 degrees before taking a picture. If that had been done here, both images would appear in a horizontal landscape mode that was 16:9 instead of 9:16. Now, one more important thing that I want to show is that the aspect ratio is merely a relationship value between the width and the height. It has nothing to do directly with the resolution of an image. Also, some examples of how this works. I'm going to return the playhead back to the beginning, and then I'll delete that one vertical image on the timeline. And then I'll return to the horizontal image folder in the library. I've already taken that original horizontal image and I've rescaled it several times as various resolutions, as you can tell by the file name that I've given each in the library window. Now let's see if each one of these is still a 16:9 landscape mode image. I'm going to select images 2 through 6 and place them next in line on track 1. I have to zoom out on the timeline to see everything at once, and the easiest way is to click on the icon on the far left to view the entire video. Now, let's have a little fun with math. I'm going to reopen the Windows calculator and check the aspect ratio value for number 2. I'm going to type in 3840. Then hit divide, then type in 2160, and then hit equals. Well, where have we seen those numbers before? It's the same as the first image, thus meaning that image 2 must also be 16:9. If I were to move the playhead over to that second image, will it appear twice as large as before, or will it look normal? Well, let's see what happens. It looks just the same. The resolution of 3840 by 2160 is what is known as a 4K image, whereas 1920 by 1080 is known as full high def. Image number 2 technically has 4 times the number of pixels, but as I move the playhead between those two, don't they look almost identical? Okay, for now then, let's go and look at image number 3. It is only 960 pixels wide by 540 pixels tall. It is half the size of the original. Is it another 16:9 aspect ratio? Well, let's check the math once again. Back on the calculator window, I'll type in 960 and hit divide. Then type in 540. And then hit equals. Yep, the same value of 1.78. While we're here, let's check the other images. I'll repeat the process in the calculator for the 240 by 135 image. Now, it also has a value of 1.78. Next, I'm going to check the 120 by 68 image. And once again, it has the same aspect ratio value of 1.78. And finally, the last image is only 16 pixels wide by 9 pixels tall. We don't even need a calculator for this to realize that it is truly a 16:9 image. But let's check the value. 16 divided by 9 equals, well, hell's bells, it's also 1.78. So the math part proves that every image is a 16:9 aspect ratio. But will those low resolution images fill the preview window? Well, let's think about that for a moment. The project settings and the preview window are both set for 16:9. And so far, the project settings have nothing to do with the resolution, so I am kind of leaning towards the answer is that each 16:9 image, regardless of its resolution, will fill up the preview window. Now let's test my theory by moving the playhead over image 3. Yes, so far so good. And curiously, I don't see a lot of deterioration of the image quality. Now on to image number 4. The same full-size display, but now a lack of pixels is becoming obvious. On to image number 5. Same full size, but I think my computer now needs glasses. And finally, the ultimate test of 16 pixels wide by 9 pixels high. Oh, good Lord, I've gone blind. But at least it does completely fill the preview window. Now here's a quick test of what happens when you use an image or video that is not quite the full 16:9 aspect ratio. I'm going to drag down this image that says Select Aspect Ratio. I'll right-click on it to bring up Properties, and there you can see the resolution is 1400 by 908. Well, back to the Windows calculator. I'm going to enter 1400 divided by 908, and the answer is 1.54, which is not quite 1.78 that we had before. Which is kind of funny considering the image is talking about 16:9 ratios, but in itself it is not quite 16:9. I'll close out the calculator window and move the playhead over the new image that is only 1.54. If you look closely, there is a small area of black bars along the right and left sides. So the lesson here is that the aspect ratio defines the shape of the image, while the resolution specifies the number of pixels. This should imply to you that your videos and images do not have to have the same resolution. But if you want each media clip to appear the same shape, then they should be the same or nearly the same aspect ratio. If the aspect ratio of any media clip being used in the project has a different aspect ratio, then there will be black bars somewhere for that image. Finally, remember earlier when I said the resolutions that you can choose for export will be based on what the project's aspect ratio has been set for? This is a small but important detail that you probably never noticed while using PowerDirector. Well, now we're going to notice it together. First, I'm going to delete everything on the timeline. Then I'm going to reopen the horizontal folder. And I'm going to select image number 7. And I'm going to drag it down to the timeline. I'm going to hit the export button now. When the window opens, look at the drop-down menu for resolution. Notice that every one of these resolutions is wider than it is taller. This is what my project setting of 16:9 specified. What if I wanted to create a portrait video? It's possible to do that in 2 different ways. I'll close the export window and return back to the editing window. I'll go over and change my project aspect ratio from the horizontal mode to the portrait 9:16 mode. But look at the preview window. The image fits the width into the preview window, but leaves a lot of black bars at the top and bottom. I'm just going to play dumb and hit the export button. Now let's look at the drop-down menu for resolutions. They are all different than before. Each has the width narrower than the height because my project setting is now 9:16. Well, that's one way to do it, but there is a better way. I'm going to exit the export window and return back again to the editing window. I'm going to zoom in on the image until it fills all of the 9:16 portrait mode that you can see in the preview window. I'll do that by clicking on the clip to select it. Then I'm going to grab the lower left corner control node and drag it down and to the left until I see that middle control node reach the left side of the preview window. I'll grab the lower right node and drag it down and to the right until that middle node reaches the right side of the preview window. Now next, I'm going to slide the image up and over a little bit to the left until I'm satisfied with the results. Now I can hit export. And then now all of my resolutions are still in the vertical portrait mode, but I have a much better image than before. So now you've seen how a landscape image can be made to fit a particular portrait mode. And we initially saw how a portrait image not quite fit into a landscape mode. The difference was all in what's in the image and if it can be satisfactorily adapted to look correct. There is no magic way of automatically removing black bars. It's all about the skill of the video editor to make it look the best possible way. Okay, that's enough geeky stuff to drown a horse. I hope you have learned a thing or two from all of this. If you have any questions or comments, I certainly invite you to leave them below. Thanks to everyone for watching. I'll see you next time.
Because you're sweet and lovely, girl, I love you. Because you're sweet and lovely, girl, it's true. I love you more than ever, girl, I do. I want you in the morning, girl, I love you. Want you at the moment I feel blue. I'm living every moment, girl, for you. You looked at me, that's all you had to